Thomas Markle, Meghan Markle's estranged father, is in critical care following emergency surgery in the Philippines. After undergoing emergency surgery in the Philippines, where he has lived for a number of years, Thomas Markle, the 81-year-old father of the Duchess of Sussex Meghan Markle, is battling for his life in critical care. His children have called for prayers and compassion in the face of what they see as an imminent danger to his survival due to the serious health crisis that erupted abruptly on Tuesday, December 2nd. This has brought the long-estranged family dynamic back into the public eye. Thomas Markle Jr., Markle's son, verified the information to the Daily Mail, stating that his father was taken to a nearby hospital after unexpectedly becoming quite ill at home, only to be transported by ambulance to a larger institution for a 3-hour procedure. The retired TV lighting director is currently undergoing a second treatment to remove a deadly blood clot, and his daughter, Samantha Markle, has openly expressed concerns that he may not pull through this. As everyone watches, the tragedy highlights the long-standing conflict between Thomas and his youngest daughter, and rekindles discussions on family reconciliation in the face of death. Since moving from Mexico in 2021, Thomas has lived a low-key life in his humble home on the outskirts of Manila, where the chain of events started innocently on Tuesday morning. Thomas Jr., 59, claims that shortly after breakfast, a small meal of rice and fruit that he hardly touched, his father complained of excruciating stomach discomfort and dyspnea. What he initially wrote off as indigestion quickly worsened into chest tightness, lightheadedness, and a collapse onto the living room floor that left him gasping for oxygen. I found him there, pale as a ghost, clutching his side, Thomas Jr. told the Mail. He was hardly able to talk. At that moment, I realized we needed to act quickly. At 10:45 a.m. local time, an ambulance was summoned, and its sirens blared as it rushed through the congested traffic of Manila to a nearby clinic for preliminary scans. The outcomes were disastrous. Internal bleeding that was likely caused by a vascular problem or perforated ulcer, made worse by his advanced age and underlying medical issues. Without delay, medical professionals airlifted him 20 miles to a large hospital in Quezon City so they could treat him right away. A ruptured abdominal aortic aneurysm, a potentially fatal bulge in the main artery supplying the lower body that is prone to burst under pressure from high blood stress, was the initial diagnosis made by the doctors during the almost 3-hour emergency procedure. The situation was rendered even more dangerous by Thomas's history of cardiovascular issues, which included 2 heart attacks in 2018, one of which occurred just days before Meghan married Prince Harry, a second stroke in 2020, and persistent hypertension that required daily medication and stents. His arteries are like old pipes, brittle from years of wear, Us Weekly was informed by a family source. Following surgery, Thomas was stabilized but moved to the intensive care unit, ICU, where monitors monitored his precarious vital signs. Oxygen saturation falling below 92%, blood pressure hovering at 90/60, and a new complication, a blood clot in his leg that might spread to his brain or lungs. "He's fighting, but it's grueling," Thomas Jr. stated in a broken voice. "The following 48 hours are crucial, according to the doctors. Please offer up prayers for him." In a message to the site, Samantha Markle, Thomas's eldest daughter from his first marriage, reaffirmed the urgency and painted a picture of a man who has been beaten, but unbreakable by life's constant blows. "He is a strong man, but he has been through so much," the 61-year-old remarked. "I'm hoping he has the strength to go through this. My father has had an earthquake, a stroke, and 2 heart attacks. I'm hoping he can overcome this." The earthquake alludes to the July 2024 7.2 magnitude earthquake that shook the Philippines, leaving Thomas unharmed, but worsening his mobility problems and keeping him closer to his house. Samantha, who has been outspoken in her criticism of Meghan over the years, took the opportunity to make a direct plea. "My only wish is that Meghan shows my father some compassion. He is genuinely battling for his life." Since Meghan's flawless marriage to Prince Harry on May 19, 2018, the Markle family has been defined and divided by a 7-year estrangement, which coincides with the plea. After divorcing Meghan's mother, Doria Ragland, when she was 6 years old, Thomas, then 73, was scheduled to walk his daughter down the aisle at St. George's Chapel in Windsor. This role represented the culmination of their close bond, which had been formed during Meghan's childhood in View Park, Windsor Hills, Los Angeles, where he raised her as a single father. Thomas, a former Emmy-winning lighting director for programs like General Hospital and Married with Children, encouraged Meghan's early acting aspirations and taught her how to put up camera angles in their garage. In her 2014 blog, The Tig, Meghan said, "My dad is my hero," praising his endless support and unwavering belief in her. However, in the midst of a paparazzi scandal just days before the wedding, Thomas had 2 heart attacks. He had manufactured pictures with a British photographer for $100,000, which he later described as a terrible mistake, motivated by media pressure and health concerns. He withdrew while bedridden in a hospital in Rosarito Beach, allowing King Charles, who was Prince of Wales at the time, to accompany Meghan halfway down the wedding. The repercussions was immediate. Thomas's public remarks, in which he accused Meghan of being cold and ungrateful, widened the rift. Their relationship had irreversibly broken down by 2019. In her 2021 Oprah interview, Meghan mentioned privacy issues and the emotional toll of Thomas's absence, saying it had left her devastated. In tabloid tell-alls, Thomas, who was living in exile in Mexico, retaliated, saying Meghan had abruptly stopped talking to him. His other children, Samantha and Thomas Jr., who have struggled with their own health and legal issues, have openly clashed with Meghan, labeling her a narcissist and appealing for reconciliation. In an attempt to start again, Thomas relocated to the Philippines in 2021, first to Manila, then to a more sedate suburb, to be nearer to distant relatives and away from Mexican photographers. However, the emotional burden of family quiet, restricted access to U.S.-level care, and language problems in hospitals all contributed to vulnerability brought on by isolation. Samantha said, "He's alone too much," to the Mail in 2024. "The stress is killing him slower than the heart attacks." The sadness is heightened by this most recent situation, which is taking place far from Meghan's Montecito estate. Drawing from his own reconciliation with King Charles during the monarch's 2024 cancer fight, sources close to the Sussexes told Cosmopolitan that Prince Harry is gently encouraging Meghan to get in touch. "Harry knows estrangement," a confidant remarked. "Now that he has reconciled with his father, he wants Meghan to have the same opportunity. However, it's her call. Although Meghan has not made any public remarks, her Archewell Foundation discreetly gave $50,000 to the Philippine Red Cross last month for elder care programs, a move that some see as a subtle show of support. There has been a mixture of empathy and criticism from throughout the world. With 150,000 tweets in a single day, royal observers on X, previously Twitter, are trending "Pray for Thomas," with many calling on Meghan to make peace before it's too late. Vocal critic Piers Morgan tweeted, "It's heartbreaking for Thomas Markle. Call your dad, Meghan. Life is too brief." In response, supporters used the hashtag #Protect Meghan to draw attention to the emotional abuse she claimed in Spare and her sit-down with Oprah. Oprah Winfrey shared a prayer emoji chain, while Kris Jenner wrote, "Family first, always," sending love to all the Markles. Celebrities also contributed. Thomas is praised by local media in the Philippines as a adopted son, and hospitals in Manila have waived his medical expenses. Thomas is renowned for his fortitude, having survived a controversy involving a heart attack on the eve of his wedding in 2018, a stroke in 2020 that left him somewhat aphasic, and an earthquake in 2024 that shattered the foundation of his house. "He's a fighter," Thomas Jr. maintains, but at 81, with everything he's carried, heart issues, family rifts, the media circus, it's a miracle he's here at all. Following clot removal, doctors predict a 60 to 70% likelihood of full recovery. Nevertheless, problems such as infection or stroke risk remain. "He's been through hell," Samantha pleads. "The only person who can put this right is Meghan." The Markle tale pauses for breath as Thomas struggles to survive in a sterile intensive care unit bed, tubes dangling from arms to machines. Will Meghan close the distance? Wounds are deep, but Harry's influence might tilt the scales. For the time being, prayers from Manila to Montecito reflect two truths. Once time is lost, it cannot be recovered, and blood is thicker than headlines. Thomas Markle and his family are in our thoughts. I hope kindness wins out.